What's up? It's me. It's a little bit different video, but we're going to get right into it. Why most people don't make money in real estate and how to fix it. So I'm going to just hop right into it. I'm not going to give you like all these little details, all these little stories or anything like that. I'm going to just get right into it. One, you got to understand, if you don't have any guidance, it's going to be like one of the hardest businesses you could ever get into, because you can keep learning. You can learn for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, a decade, 15 years. You're never going to know everything. So at some point, you got to just stop and just start. That's number one. Number two is you keep taking too much information. And granted, we have like one of the best times in history to learn anything. The problem is you can learn anything, which allows you to not focus. And this is what I see the most. There's a lack of focus. And focus really is like a luxury today, because you have so many things going on, so many things to do and to not lock in with, right? So, and I'm telling you this because, back maybe like 3-4 years ago, I did like a program. I stopped it. Now I'm starting it back up again, because I spoke to a couple hundred, maybe like it's a couple thousand people maybe. And this is when I was just like interviewing and seeing where they were at. And I noticed a trend among everybody that didn't want to actually like move forward or never got success, whatever that looks like to them. Because, success to me is completely different to you. Like there's no ideal success. It's whatever you create, because you're the man, you're the woman. It's your life, not mine. And I'm not here to tell you what success is, right? So, but I noticed the ones that didn't even try to reach their goals, they had like a mental block. And what I mean by mental block is they would see other people win. They would see me at the time when I would post deals and stuff like that, which I don't really do anymore. Honestly, it kind of makes you a target. But they felt like they didn't deserve to make that much money. They felt like they didn't have enough. They needed more to be able to move to that next step, to even be able to take action, to be able to even talk about deals, to be able to even reach out to people. And that has nothing to do with business. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with none of that. And I'll tell you, I've been brokering in pretty much 99.9% of the people watching this video. Like literally, I've had to do everything myself, and literally everything with like zero safety net, like none. And it sucks. So most of y'all have an advantage that I never had. And, it just is what it is, which is why I speak the way I do, is because I see some people's situations and I'm just like, you're complaining about nothing, and you actually have more of an advantage than you think, right? But really, it's a mental block. Like, you don't feel like you deserve to get a deal. You don't feel like you deserve to even run a business. You don't even feel like you deserve to be in real estate, because you're taking in what other people are saying, what other people are doing, and not focused on what you're doing and getting where you need to go. Like, you don't feel like you deserve success, whatever that looks like in your life. And that is a big internal problem. So what I'm going to do is solve that for you, so you can actually remove that blockage and actually start focusing on real estate, and actually how to get deals too. I'll follow up with that. Now, number one, this is what you have to think about it. Who taught you about money? Who taught you about success? Who taught you that you can't do anything? So you have to dial it all the way back. And sorry, my phone's going off. I'm not going to edit this video too. It's just going to be real raw. You got to think back when you were a child. Who instilled that you couldn't afford anything? You can't do this. You can't do that. You have to take these steps to go here. Whoever raised you, if they had the opposite mentality, like you can do anything you want, you could be anybody you want, this is how you do it. No, you don't have to go through these steps. You can actually quantum leap. And there's a great book. I suggest everybody read about it, because it's going to change your whole mind and outlook on life. And when you read this book, you'll be able to recognize most people have suffered from low self-esteem, low expectations. Just get the book. I'm not even getting paid for mentioning that, but it's going to change your whole entire spectrum of how the world is. Now, if you had a parent or someone that says, hey, you have a higher standard, this is what you live at, your standard is always gonna be here. Whereas if you came up from like a middle class family or didn't really have too much, or even if you did have a comfortable living, they still had old school mindset. Like, you got to get capped right here. This is it. You got to work extra hard to get here. And I want to tell you, like, you don't really have to work hard to get a result. That is not true, especially in 2025 and moving forward. Those days are over. This is not the Industrial Revolution. But back to what I was saying, is that depending on who fed you this ideology, that's where your mindset is right now. Because you got to think, look at it this way. And I always use this example. And there's a book about this too. I'm referring to books that I've read. So I've read a lot of books, by the way, over 1,000. There's a book about George Bush Sr., I believe Senior, whatever, the son of the original George Bush, who was the president, right? And you got to understand, he's an idiot. And I'm not trying to, talk bad about him, but it is what it is. He's like he's really average by definition, below average for most people, right? But you got to understand his household, where he was raised at, and the standard of not just living, but the standard of mentality of what you should expect out of life. Because remember, everything is out there for you to get. Anything you want in life is there for you to get it. I mean, whether you think you can or you think you can't, it's true. And this is where we're getting to. George Bush is, he went to an Ivy League school through connections, but he wasn't smart. He was able to become the United States president of America for 4 years. And he was literally a dumbass, and he was pretty much a puppet for Dick Cheney. But that's a whole nother conversation. But what I'm saying is, his standard is always here. Even if he was a C student, a belligerent drunk, it didn't matter. His standard was always up here because that's what was instilled in him. Meanwhile, you could have a high IQ or whatever. IQ tests don't really matter because IQ doesn't equate wealth, by the way. You could be dumb. And like I said, this is a good example. You could be dumb and make a lot of money in life because it has nothing to do with how smart you are. Actually, being dumber actually helps you succeed a little bit more. But you're smarter. You have a better work ethic, but you've been told your whole life, like, you got to just start here. I don't know about that. When I get good and ready, we can't afford that. We can't do that. And when people in a household instill this in you, that seeps into your subconscious as a kid. And you need to be able to rewrite that because you could work 10 times, you have to work 5 or 10 times harder, and you will get only a fraction of the result as someone who was raised in a different household and mentality. Because it's all about your expectations in life. Life gives you what you expect. When you expect less, you get less. When you expect more, you get more. It's really that simple. And this goes back to real estate. Most people don't get deals because they don't expect they actually can do it. It's not that they have the wrong strategy. Well, sometimes they do have the wrong strategy. But even if you do have the wrong strategy, you have to have the mental capacity to recognize that and shift over because you know you can do it. Most people give up on things like there's no competition really after you do something consistently for 90 days. That's why you see a lot of offers for 90 days and things like that, is because it's rooted in psychology. If you can last longer than that, then you've already beat 99% of the competition. And the thing is, 99% of the competition, or people on earth, have low expectations, a low self-esteem, and a lot of this stuff was instilled in them by how they were raised. And you have to rewrite that. And now I can get into the techniques of how to do that, but you really got to ask yourself and be honest with yourself. Do you expect more out of life? Do you expect what you actually want out of life? Like, do you know for sure that you can get that? And be honest with yourself. Write it down on a piece of paper. Do you expect to get deals when you're doing real estate? Do you expect to be able to make the amount of money that you want? Do you expect to live the life that you want, whatever that looks like? And if you can't actually write it down, you don't actually believe it. This is why most people don't get deals. So This is I talk about this in also my program. It's like I said, that's in Blueprint. It's actually I do one-on-one now. If you need help and actually want to build the business and do it fast, be able to work 5-6 hours a week and still be a part-time real estate investor and have a full-time business, make a full-time income, click the link below, schedule a call with me, see how it goes. But it's not hard. Anybody can do it. And that's my video. Click the link below. The offer's below. If you want to make 6 figures doing this, it's a part-time business. You can do it in any world. Click the link below. We don't just work on the business. I don't just incorporate AI into the system that I've built, but we work on your mentality. But most people who are actually going to get in a program probably don't have mentality problems. But even if you do, and you want to build this business, this is for you. That's the video. No fancy edits, no fancy music. Just felt like something that I needed to mention to you to remind you that, hey, anything out there is for you. That's it. That's the video. I'm going bye.